Simon & Schuster Audio and Grove Atlantic present Pedro Páramo by Juan Rulfo, with a foreword by Gabriel García Márquez, translated by Douglas J. Weatherford, read by Thom Rivera. Foreword by Gabriel García Márquez, translated by N.J. Sheeran. My discovery of Juan Rulfo, like that of Kafka, will without a doubt be an essential chapter in my memoirs. I had arrived in Mexico on the same day Ernest Hemingway pulled the trigger, July 2, 1961, and not only had I not read Juan Rulfo's books, I hadn't even heard of him. It was very strange. First of all, because in those days I kept up to date with the latest goings-on in the literary world, and even more when it came to Latin American novels. Secondly, because the first people I got in touch with in Mexico were the writers who worked with Manuel Barbachano Ponce in his Dracula's Castle on the streets of Córdoba, and the editors of the literary magazine Novedades, headed up by Fernando Benítez. Manuel Barbachano Ponce, 1925 to 1994, a highly influential Mexican producer. Most notably of Luis Buñuel's Nazarín, he was also a director and screenwriter in his own right. 5 years after García Márquez's arrival in Mexico, Barbachano Ponce would produce Carlos Velo's film adaptation of Pedro Páramo. Fernando Benítez Gutiérrez, 1912 to 2000. Widely admired Mexican writer, editor, and anthropologist. A champion of Mexico's indigenous population, he is best remembered for his 4-volume work Los Indios de México, Indians of Mexico. Benítez was also famously generous and gave early advice to writers such as Elena Poniatowska, Carlos Monsiváis, and José Emilio Pacheco. Naturally, they all knew Juan Rulfo well. Yet it was at least 6 months before anyone mentioned him to me. Perhaps because Juan Rulfo, contrary to what happens with most great authors, is a writer who is much read but little spoken of. I lived in an apartment without an elevator on Calle Renan in the Anzures neighborhood of Mexico City, with Mercedes and Rodrigo, who was less than 2 years old at the time. There was a double mattress on the floor of the master bedroom, a crib in the other room.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?